We're checking, folks. Back with another reaction. Back with some more of the creatures. And once again, major shout out to Nicola for sharing both the Susie material, Susie and the Banshees, the creatures, and Susie solo, which, again, we're really just in the opening phase of. So, again, we're going back to the 1981 Wild Thing EP, which I now have a more robust understanding of. That originally they wanted to work on more material, but the guitarist and the bassist were away, I think, doing other projects, or at least like couldn't commit the time. And so Susie went into the studio with Budgie, and they realized that they could make some really interesting music even without those other elements. And again, I think, was it Mark was telling me that at this time they were also essentially coming out as a romantic item, and some of the pictures they took during the time were sort of the letting the cat out of the bag moment. So yeah, a transitional phase for both of them, I imagine. I do want to mention also Nicola, I think, mentioned that Budgie, when it comes to percussion and playing the drums, is sort of like Animal and the Muppets, just like a mad person hitting every single drum that's within his reach. So that image sort of stuck with me, and I am very amused by it. So looking forward to hearing more of the percussive driven and frenetic type of music that we heard with the opening track, although again that might not be the only flavor. Either way, the next tune is So Unreal, which, unreal, it's a term or a descriptor often used to indicate something that is so incredible, so fantastic, so exceptional that it can't possibly be real. It has to be either supernatural, metaphysical, or otherwise fantastic. So I wonder, what is real, and to use the modifier it suggests that the unreal quality is even beyond what you would normally mean if you say that. So I am curious what may be at play here. Either way, let's listen. This is The Creatures, aka Susie and Budgie, and the track is So Unreal from the 1981 Wild Thing EP. The percussion is just... What can I say? What can I say? You sing like that, you can say... It's like, I wish you could feel the way I feel. It's so unreal, but you're so unreal. But is it the other person initiating that feeling, but then the speaker hits a short tune? But then the speaker's saying, having initiated that, like, you couldn't believe how I feel. Like, this is so unreal. So yeah, it sounds like an emotional tone piece, like the feeling of being very keyed up about something, to the point where, again, it's like, is this even happening? Is this even real? I assume there's more to it than that, but it did seem on some level it's like the other person's presence or some attribute has really lit the first person on fire to the point where they're wondering if the other person could even relate to how they're feeling. So yeah, again, it's amazing, the percussion. I imagine like I'm really gonna enjoy this because there's some groups I listen to where the drumming, it has like crazy flourishes and these rolls and sort of fills and so on as it goes from measure to measure, and this is like that, but with just this constant energy and like very frenetic and like busy percussive environment. So yeah, shout out to Budgie, shout out to Susie, and ultimately I am curious to hear how different from what I already know from Susie and the Banshees, given the fact that it's that same or part of that same group, but without a couple elements that you would normally consider central to a lot of music making, certainly in the general idiom that we're working with here. So I'll stop talking. This does tend to happen, and I feel like I've been listening to a lot of tunes lately where I do end up rambling afterward, and that's usually a sign that my brain, it's still percolating and still digesting the tune as I'm trying to articulate how it's making me feel. So big shout out to the creatures once again. Shout out to Nicola for sharing this. Luca just woke up, so we're going to get a big stretch here. Big stretch. And yeah, let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.